What's up, everybody, and welcome back to the BallGame podcast. I'm Matt.
I'm Tom.
He's about to be here. Give him 1 second.
I'm Chris.
Yeah.
Loaded show today. We're going to recap some game ones of the conference finals in the NBA. We're going to be giving you guys...
Diaper.
Yo. They should have been on the Apple Music Top 100 albums of all time, man. Talk about a snub.
Talking about snubs, we're gonna give you guys our top 10 defenses that we believe going into the next NFL season. We have a lot of NFL content coming up for the entire offseason, I should say, for the next couple months leading in. It's gonna be a fun time. Basketball is also just released their All-NBA teams. We're gonna be reacting to that as well. All right, so why don't we get this thing started? So game one, I guess we'll talk about this one since it's gonna be on in about 20 minutes. Game one of the Boston Celtics and the Indiana Pacers was absolutely electric, something I did not expect. We had massive shots, big turnovers, we had overtime, we had everything you can imagine that made it incredibly, incredibly entertaining. So, what are our initial reactions to the Boston Celtics getting a close Game 1 win against the Indiana Pacers?
Tom, you weren't here Tuesday, so
Yeah.
welcome
back,
Yeah,
dude.
Yeah, thank you. I apologize. I'm still feeling I'm a little congested. I had strep throat. Not fun. I wasn't embarrassed to talk about the Knicks like some people suggested. But that game, man, I mean, Indy, you gotta take that one, man. You can't, coming down to the wire there, Jaylen Brown hits a tough three to send it to overtime. You just can't let that happen. It was a fun game to watch for sure. I definitely, honestly, I don't even think I planned on watching it at first, but I was laying on my couch sick as a dog, and I was like,
ready to go to sleep after the Celtics went up 12-0.
Yeah.
I flipped over for a second.
And I was like, hey, you know what? I'll put it on, and it ended up being a great game. Halliburton hit a crazy shot. What was that, at the end of the first half or first quarter?
He had two.
He had two. One was at the end of the third.
Half and one at the end of the third.
So he was cooking. He just got in that mode where he just was hitting crazy shots. And
say what you said before we went on.
What?
He just takes and makes the worst shot.
He really does. He just
Sometimes
takes and and sometimes he scores 12 points because of it. Sometimes he scores 30. You know, so that's an All-NBA player for you, I guess. We'll get into that. But really, what the downfall was, we've talked about it extensively, was Rick Carlisle. A Rick Carlisle disaster class. I mean, we get to overtime, man. And you have Andrew Nembhard guarding Jason Tatum. Like, we all saw what Jalen Brunson did to Jason Tatum, I wish. We all saw what Jalen Brunson did to Andrew Nembhard in that series. And Carlisle was like, you know what? A 6'1" guard, absolutely cooked this guy. I'm going to put him on a 6'9" wing that's on the All-NBA first team. Like, that's a terrible decision. So, I mean, I know the Pacers aren't loaded on defense and Nesmith fouled out. But you got to put just a bigger guy in there. It doesn't matter. You could get James Johnson out there. Like, I would have respected that decision more than Andrew Nembhard guarding him.
For the fuck of it.
I mean, you had McConnell and Nembhard out there against the big ass Celtics, and Jaylen Brown was absolutely cooking. Jason Tatum, Matt, you said it before the broadcast, forgets how to play basketball for a lot of the games sometimes.
Some serious stretches.
And then he reminds you who the hell he is. So.
Barely, bro. He didn't remind me shit, bro. He didn't remind me anything, bro. I could fucking cook Andrew Nembhard, dog.
If I was 6'9", I'm cooking Andrew Nembhard shit.
He got bailed out.
He definitely did get bailed out.
But it is.
Like at the end of that. So let's talk about the big controversial moment was
saved Jason Tatum's legacy.
True, yeah.
He really did.
Why are we not fouling when we're up 3? And I think people were saying after, I think Siakam, look at Deuce Tatum, bro. Deuce Tatum could probably score on Andrew Nembhard.
I sent it to DM, bro.
Damn, bro. Nembhard's a good defender.
No,
it was one of those.
No, I didn't see him.
Like quote meme graphics, the ones that like ESPN does. It was parody, and it was like Deuce Tatum develops nicotine addiction at 7 years old. I was crying.
And
he does look like he has a Nick stick on him, bro. He's wearing a fucking Jordan jumpsuit.
The name of the account was ESP Zins. so shout out to them, man.
That's hilarious.
So funny.
But yeah, so foul when you're up 3. It looked like Siakam wanted to foul him, and I guess Jaylen Brown just shot the ball too. I don't know. I thought Jaylen Brown was standing there for
but he was,
a couple seconds.
He was scared to foul him because once he would have tried to foul, Jalen was going to.
He was going to go up. Yeah.
Yeah, you have to. They were saying it on the broadcast too. If you're going to foul there, you have to run through the ball on the catch. Yeah. But what had happened was they did the loop-de-loop screen action, and Siakam, there was too much space. He couldn't foul directly on the catch.
Right.
And then, like you said, once he has the ball, you don't want to foul because he could, especially a guy like Jaylen Brown, who,
he's going to get the free throws.
Scorers, bro. You don't do it to them.
Right. These guys have been in that situation countless numbers of times. He knows to go into a shot there. I have a problem. But again, it's a Rick Carlisle disaster class because why the fuck aren't we switching everything there? Why aren't we? If they're going to go to the press conference after the game and say, we wanted to foul, but we couldn't. I understand that because I agree. Siakam shouldn't have tried to foul there. But if the game plan was we want to foul, then it has to be switch everything.
Right.
How would you allow a guy to get space off a screen to catch the ball? That literally makes no sense. It literally, he contradicts himself.
Right.
It makes no sense.
Yep.
And if LeBron James is telling everyone to foul up 3, then you listen to LeBron James, bro.
Yeah.
He said it on the podcast, man. He took his little victory lap on Twitter. He was probably so happy typing that, this is why I say foul up 3.
He probably was, bro. He probably had it locked and loaded as soon as that foul got called.
Yeah, had it in the drafts.
He's just a typical podcaster now. Right. We take our victory laps when we can get them.
I mean, I don't blame them. It's the logical move in most of these cases, to be honest. But
no, you foul up 3 on your 100%.
1,000%, yeah.
Depending on how much time is left.
As a basketball player, I hate it because I think it's taking the easy way out. Like I'm a real man. I want to play defense.
Yeah, but we played men's league. Yes, we're not in the NBA Eastern Conference Finals.
I've seen too many people hit fucking.
I'd want to fight if someone fouled up 3 in men's league and we had the ball.
I mean,
if I'm going for a game-tying shot for overtime and someone fouled me, I'd want to fight.
I'd probably want to fight too.
In men's league, bro, that's so.
That's crazy.
I've seen so many buzzer beaters.
It's happened to us a
my
lot.
Fucking dome now.
It's happened a lot.
That I kind of just want to fucking foul people now.
No, you foul up 3 100% of the time.
Yeah.
And I mean, it really does suck that we have to talk about the Pacers like this because aside from that last play to overtime, it was a phenomenal
They were
game,
awesome.
Bro, that guy well, no, he doesn't have the ball anymore, but Miles Turner was torching them.
I have it right
had
here.
stretches of taking over the game, bro.
Luke Cornett should not be on a basketball
court. Right, I have it
court.
right here. In that second quarter, Miles Turner, 12 points, didn't miss a shot. And like you said, Luke Cornett in that second quarter got 6 minutes of burn, and he was guarding Miles Turner. I'm
gonna be honest. I think all 12 of those probably came in the 6 minutes that
he was cooking.
Sounds about right.
Yeah, like you said, in the first quarter they go down 12-0. Here comes Obi Toppin into the game, and he gives you a little burst. I don't know how much he finished with on the game, but he gave you a little bit of a burst. T.J. McConnell obviously had his moments it felt very reminiscent to the Knicks game. Yep. Obviously they weren't winning by 30 because it's the Celtics, but the way their offense was clicking, and it was a little bit of everyone when they needed it. It was a great game offensively by them.
Nembhard was killing Horford down the stretch of the game.
And I'm sure every big broadcast and media outlet has spoken about this point. Actually, I did see it on ESPN while I was sitting in the barber chair today. But the Pacers, no pun intended, will call me Magic Johnson, but the Pacers made the Celtics play at their pace. And as much as we want, I know you guys are all in on the Celtics winning tonight, and they might win by 30. If the Pacers continue to dictate the pace of this series, I do think they actually have a chance. Not to win the series, I think the Celtics have it, but to make it competitive and not get... This is a blueprint. Even though they lost...
Just sucks you didn't get that one,
It's terrible.
Yeah.
And it's... I mean, this game tonight is obviously it's a series. It's impossible to come back from down 0-2, but especially given the way you blew that one,
oh yeah,
this first
especially when
quarter,
you're the inferior team.
Yeah, this
don't go down 0-2.
Quarter of this game is going to determine the series. But
what are we doing?
Like I said, there is.
What are we doing? It's Larry Bird up there.
Look, come on, man. Bro.
And this guy,
not to be fair, he was
on the
cooking.
Celtics side of things, Drew Holiday was fucking phenomenal.
He was
dude.
Cooking.
He's such a bulldog, man. He's one of those guys who I said this about Tyler Hero a few weeks ago. It's no wasted movement with Drew Holiday, which I could always appreciate with the ball in his hands. When he takes a dribble, it's with purpose. If he does a crossover, it's with purpose, not to just, dance around. And like we mentioned, India has small guards, T.J. McConnell and Andrew Nembhard playing big minutes for them, and Drew Holiday took advantage of that. So that's something if Drew Holiday's playing aggressive like that, the Celtics seem pretty unbeatable.
Drew has turned into a big man.
You know,
Drew has really made his career in late career.
I think he had like 30.
He had 28, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah, Drew was great in this.
Yeah, if he
game.
just doesn't get into that mood where he just starts chucking up bullshit, like
Played 48 minutes.
Drew likes
too.
to do that shit. In playoff games.
I don't get it, but
I think he shot one in this game. He shot one off the top of the backboard.
yeah, he does that once in a
Drew be
while.
on
Yeah.
some bullshit.
Yeah, sometimes he
like,
just
for real. Like he'll take the worst shot.
Yeah,
ever.
it's one thing when you're cooking, but he'll literally do it when he has like
But
6 points.
I
you know?
saw that was his highest point total this season, playoffs or regular season.
No, yeah, it was his best
I
game.
mean,
this
that's
season.
Drew Holiday.
crazy.
That's a Drew Holiday kind of thing. You know?
Crazy.
Yeah, it was his best
Fully
game
expect
of the
that
season
from
by
him.
far, honestly. I mean, I think O'Sweezy would agree. We could ask him what he thinks of that because I know he watches all of them. But, yeah, I mean, you look at the stats here for the Celtics. Like, offensively, they were doing their thing. I mean, they put up 133. You had 5 guys go over 15 points. Like, it seems like, all right, they were cooking, but this is the way the Pacers want to play. And it's the only way they'll beat you.
Yes.
It's the only way. So,
And I'll tell you, if they keep running Al like this,
Dude.
that 38-year-old man
played
So
40 minutes.
in the first
ain't
half,
gonna hold up.
I'm like, bro, there's some plays where like Al's out hustling everyone,
Yeah,
and then
he got a big
in the fourth quarter, you realize that's a 38-year-old man that body's got a lot of mileage on it. You
And
know,
they're running. They're running.
I mean, listen, take it from Knicks fans. The Pacers love to run.
yeah.
Yeah, so I mean, they get KP back. I could totally just move everything, but
I think I saw Brian Windhorst saying, I think they attempted like 90 shots as a team and also had like 15 turnovers. That's 115 fucking possessions, bro.
Christ, bro.
Like they were
What?
getting up and down.
15 turnovers, 90 shots, 105. But yeah.
Whatever. That's a lot of
But yes,
fucking
that's
possessions.
crazy.
that's a lot of
bro.
possessions,
I mean,
especially in a
yeah.
playoff
We
game
do
where things are
stats
supposed
per
to.
100
100,
possessions
yeah,
because
right.
that shit doesn't happen in actual games.
Right.
Yeah.
And then
Normally they go a
again,
little bit under.
in a playoff game where the things are supposed to slow down too, and they're still just running
Yeah.
and gunning.
Pace on average is,
Most
I think,
teams,
like
per,
97.
most players per 100 stats probably go up. The Pacers per 100 stats probably go
Yeah.
down. Which
Yeah, that is
fair.
crazy.
They really did play such a great game. It's really unfortunate.
Yeah, it's so sad that
If
they
they
lost
stole
that.
that one, you could convince yourself that like they're
If they're up 1-0, yeah.
bro.
I'm telling you, I would not be surprised. Like, I know, like, given they lost this one, they just came off of Game 7, I wouldn't be shocked if they win.
Man.
I really do think there was a legit blueprint there.
Nah, because what you got to do with the Celtics is plant the seeds of doubt. Like,
They could
I
do
don't
that
think.
here, though.
I think this, if anything, proved to the Celtics that like, oh, we could still play their way and still pull a win out.
Well, they knew
Now
that
let's
already,
play
though.
our ball. Like, no, but Jalen's like, especially all playoffs, he's been like,
But I don't know.
we're fucking around. Like he's like, we gotta stop. Like this is like enough is enough. Like it's bullshit. Like he's like, we're playing with our food too much, whatever. Which you are, bro. Sweep everybody. They should have walked through the Eastern Conference 12-0 and got into the fucking finals. Like, yeah, we're the best team in the NBA. But I mean, I guess it's a little good to
Drew's
get
just
tested
dancing.
down the street. He's vibing, bro.
He was just dancing.
It's good to get tested in some of these games, I guess, because like once you get to the finals, bro, this ain't gonna be.
Bro, you ain't
Shit
getting.
ain't
Not
sweet.
going against no TJ McConnell.
Shit ain't
bro.
sweet, bro. You're gonna have Anthony Edwards or you're gonna have good Doncic.
The Don.
So
Yeah, I mean, I really do think, though, like I said, the first quarter will determine it tonight, but I don't think it's as simple as the Celtics just saying we're going to play our way because the Pacers are going to keep trying to play their way and
hard.
speed
It's hard to do
that thing up. I mean, I talked about it Tuesday. The Pacers are full court pressing in these playoffs more than anyone has in NBA playoff history.
Yep.
Like, they are speeding the game up, and I don't know, it's really not as simple as just saying we're going to slow this thing down when they're full court
can't,
pressing
yeah.
you all
Yeah.
game and then running down after makes and misses.
yeah,
The Celtics also, if they get into a slump, they're going to try and shoot themselves out of it. And like I said, we've seen in the past, if they can't shoot, then that's the way. That's when you're like, oh shit, this game is really
yeah.
ours.
So Xavier Tillman's been hurt, right?
I think so. I'm assuming so if they're throwing Cornette.
If they're throwing Cornette out there,
Because
yeah.
I was gonna say
He's played in these playoffs.
Tillman should be finding some minutes with this Celtics team right
Yeah,
now.
if Cornette's out
He's
there,
a good
yeah.
basketball. Tillman's
Oh,
a good
yeah,
basketball
yeah.
player. So I don't know.
Especially like he can guard too.
Yeah, he could switch on the
Yeah.
perimeter. He could. Yeah, Tillman's capable. But I think he was hurt. I believe he was. But
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
I still think what did we say? We said Celtics in 5 the other day.
Yeah. I feel
Stands.
Still,
about
yeah,
that.
still
Stands.
Celtics in 5.
I might even say Celtics in 4. That was the chance. That was it right there.
Could have been.
Definitely say
That
that.
was
yeah.
it right
Yeah, you
there.
could definitely say that.
Yeah.
So,
I'm very intrigued to see how the Pacers come out.
but Boston has lost
their.
their last 2 game 2s. These last the
Indy is
two.
4-1 after losing a game in these playoffs.
You just said India, bro.
Indy. No, I said
he
Indy.
said Indy.
I have
He said
I have the nasally voice going on. So
India is 4-1.
India is 4-1.
Since losing after every loss.
Brothers in the Olympics.
And then
Oh,
on the other side of things, the Dallas Mavericks, they brought their ass and they walked in there and won 108 to
Bring
105. Absolute masterclass by Luka and Kyrie. What are our thoughts here, man?
Man, if Kyrie gets his get back on Boston to win a ring,
And
Without LeBron.
stomps on that fucking stupid ass leprechaun. Bro.
Spits on that
With
leprechaun.
The Lario B in his fucking hand, bro.
that would
Oh,
be poetic.
I'm rooting for anyone but Boston. But,
Literally.
So, because of O'Sleazy.
Nah, I actually hate all these teams besides the Mavs. I have a strong hatred for all of them.
You really do hate the T-Wolves, man.
No, you're the
big
I've
T-Wolves
turned
hater.
I've turned a little bit. I've given them their respect and flowers.
You can't hate them with Anthony
Yeah,
Edwards on the team,
that's
bro.
the reason.
Yeah.
No, you
No,
definitely
I've
gave
definitely given them.
He still
their
hates Rudy
flowers.
Gobert,
it's
but-
I can't see Rudy Gobert get a ring,
Bro,
bro.
chill, man. What's the problem with
don't-
Rudy? I want to see
I
Rudy
just-
get a ring.
I,
Bro, the
I
T-Wolves
don't,
are
bro.
so likable in terms of everyone that could get a ring.
I want to see Cat get a
Cat
ring,
has
bro.
been through
No,
so
I like
much.
everyone else besides Rudy.
Wait, before
Rudy
we
deserves this.
before we get into the series, I saw this on TikTok. Jokic Joestar on TikTok, love his stuff. He tweeted, "Who would be the funniest Finals MVP?" Because like, think about
Started
this, bro.
watching the video. I saw he said Gobert first, and I didn't watch the rest. What was the
Like
last of the
Gobert would be pretty funny. I don't even know. Like, what are the other outcomes?
between these teams?
All these teams.
TJ McConnell.
Well, I was
would
about
be
to
like
say-
T.J. McConnell,
TJ
Finals
McConnell would be
MVP.
crazy.
Obi Toppin, Finals MVP.
If you go to the Celtics, like a fucking Al Horford Finals MVP would
Al
be
Horford would be
hilarious.
If one of
crazy.
the other guys that isn't Tatum or Brown gets it, that'd be fucking comical.
Yeah, but
if
Derek White, I could-
if Derek White gets it over Tatum, that would be hilarious.
That'd be
It'd be like
awesome.
the Andre Iguodala.
Yes,
over
that would
Curry
be
type thing,
hilarious.
To be honest.
But it wouldn't. But everyone still loves Curry.
Bro, can you
People hate
imagine-
Tatum?
Yeah,
and
yeah,
will use that against him for the rest of the time, bro.
That's a great point.
Can you imagine a Nas Reed Finals MVP?
That would be fucking
That'd
awesome.
be sick. But imagine after all of this about Tatum needs to get a ring, Tatum needs to get a ring.
doesn't win the
gets
Finals
ring, and
MVP.
Derek White gets the Finals MVP, bro.
Imagine
and then
them-
he never goes back.
Imagine the Mavs winning and you give PJ Washington the
sick.
Finals MVP.
That'd be
He would have to
Bro.
do some nasty things to win that Finals
Yeah,
MVP.
bro, he really would. He really would.
But,
That'd be
um,
amazing.
yeah,
but on this
it's funny.
actual game, it was a fucking entertaining one. I'll tell you that much. I had a great time watching this game too.
It was a good game. It was definitely a good game.
Mavs went on
Kyrie,
like what,
man.
a 12-0 run down the stretch?
Yeah.
Yeah,
was killing it.
Luka was dominating in the fourth quarter.
Yeah.
15 in the fourth alone.
Yeah, off the rip ski. I said it the other day, man. Kyrie Irving is not no Jamal Murray. It's that simple. And he clearly really took that shit
Oh,
personally.
he took it about as
Yeah.
personal as he could.
He came out and he looked like, for someone who's as athletic as Anthony Edwards is, Kyrie looked way too fast for him.
Yeah.
And I don't know if the Timberwolves have any other matchup for him. I saw Joel Moran shout out to Pick a Side and Joel. He flirted with the idea. I don't know, I don't think he actually was
Pulling
serious
Conley?
about it, but just pulling Towns or Rudy to start Naw, so Naw's in off the rip to guard Kyrie, and having Rudy or Towns come off your bench.
You just rely too much on Ant being the lone engine if you take Cat out. And then
Your defense takes it. Well, you'd have insane spacing if you take
Yes.
Rudy out.
yeah.
And you'd
but
have
then-
a guy who could.
But I didn't
But then you
think
have
no,
Cat. You have
I don't
Cat
even
and drop against
necessarily-
Luca. Like, good
Well,
luck.
All right, we're gonna get into the drop.
I was
Right,
about to
yeah,
say
yeah, yeah.
exactly. I was about to say
Right.
exactly that. Because I mean, I guess we'll jump straight into the drop coverage thing because that's where I'm gonna go with this. Like Rudy, when they blitzed, they did solid. Like the Mavs could not respond.
They
You're
did.
putting the big men in a position to make a decision on a 4-on-3 with great rotational defenders and the 3 remaining, and then you figured out from there. But you stood and dropped for much of the game and kept getting just diced up
Yeah.
by Kyrie and Luka. And I just didn't understand it because we've seen that Rudy is at least capable of playing up on
Right.
screens.
So you know what happened too was like you say, they were in drop for majority of the game, but when they did blitz, it worked. But what had happened was they were in drop all game, which allowed Luka to get going on mid-range shots throughout the course of the game. And then you're going to start blitzing in the fourth quarter. So what does Luka Doncic do? And we saw it. There was one play, I think it put them up 4. It made it 102-98 at that point, I'm pretty sure, deep in the fourth quarter. He started waving off the screen. But now he's in such a rhythm because he's killing your drop that he sees Jaden McDaniels in front of him one-on-one. He's going to cook him.
Oh, my God.
He's going to say, I don't even want to see the second defender. Like, if you're going to blitz me, then fuck it.
He was making crazy shots.
Right. He was making crazy shots, but that's what I'm saying. You let a guy like that get into that rhythm against drop coverage, he'll kill anyone one-on-one.
Yep.
J-Mac's been the best perimeter defender in these playoffs, and he made him look foolish in that fourth quarter. There was
And
nothing he
Jaden
could
was
do.
contested.
Bro, that last bucket, Luka literally just went right into his chest.
Yep.
Stepped back and hit it over. And like
he was doing that often.
that's what
in
I'm
this
saying.
game,
Like if
to be
Luka's
honest.
just gonna do that, like
one where
use
he
it.
went right
Yeah.
into him in the mid-range. That was when he waved off the screen and then just danced around a little bit and just went right at him. J-Mac even pushed him off his dribble on that play. He reset himself and then just went right at him.
And early on, J-Mac played great on Luka, one-on-one too. Like, Luka was missing some shots and stuff, and then you let him get in a rhythm, playing drop coverage. Kyrie was dicing it up too. Like, it was – I was so
and
puzzled by it.
It's so confusing too, as Rudy Gobert, for instance, the guy being in the drop, when you're going against one play, it's Luka attacking you in the drop, who plays so slow and at his pace. And then Kyrie, who, especially in this game, it was all about quickness. So it's two completely different looks that you're going to have to guard in the drop. Like, as much as I hate Rudy, like, I don't even know what else I was supposed to do. Like, there's nothing you could do.
He was contesting the lobs well in the first half, but then you give Luka and Kyrie an opportunity to figure something out. They'll do it like this.
Yeah. I think
They'll do it like this.
It's very similar to what I said about Minnie in the Denver series, where for them it's very important to get off to an early lead and then have your defense and Anthony Edwards backpack you home. So like you said, they saw some success with the blitzes, so I expect in game 2, off the rip, it's going to be heavy blitzes and making P.J. Washington hit because the role players didn't hit many shots.
They did not
for
make
them.
many shots.
They didn't, but they let Kyrie and Luka beat them, so I think it's going to be a completely different strategy for the Timberwolves.
I think they'll also be willing to switch it up more throughout the game.
And they have
give them different looks.
right? And they have the personnel to give different looks. So, as much as I want to say this is over, especially because Jason Kidd won his first game one,
that was big time though. Yes.
Yeah, but the Timberwolves, there's so many adjustments they can make. So it's and before we move on, I have to give my fucking props to fucking Derek Lively. This man has been insane, bro. He's been insane. He just makes all the right plays. For a guy like Luka Doncic, who's going to be living in that pick and roll, he's just making all the right plays as a roller.
I'm shocked he's not starting already. He's so significantly better than Gafford.
Especially in these playoffs.
Yes, so significantly better than Gafford.
You saw Luka like flip out on Gafford
Yes.
at one point?
That was bad, bro.
Yeah, that was a bad
He called for the screen.
Called for the screen, and Gafford just sat there.
Just stood there.
Yeah.
But
Lively had 9-11. He had 3 assists. He didn't miss a shot.
2 blocks,
2 blocks. Yeah.
Yeah. He was phenomenal in this one.
He was a plus 19, bro.
Before we move on from this, it needs to be mentioned, Anthony Edwards was dead. Dead tired in that fourth quarter, bro. He was gasping for air.
Yeah.
Like, it got to the point where I think he and Mike Conley did their handshake heading to the bench, and he didn't even finish the handshake. Like, he was so tired, he waved it off.
Crazy.
Like, he was he was deferring over and over and over again down the stretch. And look, to a point, I understand because you're guarding Kyrie Irving for an entire game. And then you also are required to be the lead guy on the offensive side of the ball.
Hey, man. He asked for it.
You signed up for.
He asked for it, yeah.
This is what you fucking signed up for. So, I don't know how you figure that out. I don't know how you adjust with that. Maybe, I do think Nickeil might have to start. If you want a chance in terms of, Ant not having to defend a guy for 42 minutes in a game, it might have to be Nickeil. But that makes a tough decision for Rudy Gobert, Karl Anthony Towns. I didn't think Rudy played a terrible game.
Yeah, because I don't think you want to bench Mike Conley,
No.
right? Like
That's
you
what I
need
was just
the
thinking,
ball.
but like,
He's your
yeah,
lead
you can't.
facilitator. We
Yeah.
saw what happened when Mike Conley wasn't there for the Denver, the game in Denver.
You need Conley out there.
Conley hit big shots in this one too. So
Yeah, I don't know if tinkering with the lineup is really the adjustment to make. Obviously, I just threw the idea out there because I saw it. I thought it was interesting. I think it's really just, like I said, got to get out to an early lead and then hope your defense and Anthony Edwards could take you home. That seems to be the strategy that works the best for them.
yeah, Cat was not good.
No.
Not good in this game
No.
at all.
Like we said, it comes down to Kyrie versus Cat, and Kyrie significantly won round one.
And for this to still be a close game with Ant and Cat to be playing like shit, you'd have to expect one of them two has to have a
J-Mac
bounce-back
was
game.
incredible
Right.
on the offense.
Yeah.
Awesome.
And, bro,
Awesome.
Yeah.
Kyle Anderson gave you some really productive minutes too, which, I mean,
shout
he
out to
needs to
Kyle
be-
because he was a non-factor in the Denver
yes,
series.
yes, he was.
Shout out to him for staying ready. Yeah, I mean, this thing's far from over, bro.
It's
Yeah.
gonna be a good
I
series.
mean, they just went 7 with Denver.
This thing might go 7 with these two too. I'm gonna be honest. This is gonna be a fun.
Yeah, I
one.
can see it.
They
Yeah,
are
this should be a
very
great
well
one.
matched.
Yeah.
Very well matched.
Yeah, and I know it was different because last time Denver had home court, but we just saw Minnesota lose 2 games at home
Yep.
and still win the series.
Yeah.
So even if the Mavs come out and win tomorrow, I still don't I feel confident because I'm the Mavs guy, but still a chance for them.
Yeah.
Right.
Still not
Yeah,
winning,
yeah, for
so,
sure.
Fun series, man.
Yeah. And
Fun
it's
game
fucking
one.
Anthony Edwards, bro. I trust that guy.
Yes.
I do. So,
Yeah, I agree.
Moving on, we're gonna talk about some football finally.
Do we want to
Final.
do we want to just give our quick thoughts on all NBA
Oh,
teams since
yes,
they got
I
dropped?
forgot about
Yeah,
that.
let me
sorry.
pull them
Before
up real quick.
football.
If you want.
Yeah, go ahead. Just quick thoughts because there's not too much to talk about. I didn't think there was much to get incredibly enraged about. There were a couple things, namely Jalen Brunson not being on the first team all
Yeah, yeah, I think that's a miss. Jalen Brunson definitely should have been.
But
on
the 5
first
guys
team.
that made it, like,
And it was over Tatum. You guys would have had it, right?
yeah,
Yeah.
probably would have had him over JT. But look, JT deserved it. Like, he had a phenomenal
Yeah, I remember
season.
when we did. I actually had Giannis on my second
Yes.
team when we did ours. So
Yes,
I just,
you did.
I don't know. It's tough when you have 6 guys
like that
competing for
fucking
fucking
5
5
spots.
spots, bro. Like,
Someone had to be the
yeah, no matter what they did, the other guy would have been a snub. So I can't really be mad at it.
It's just
but
so tough because Jalen really carried us to the second seed this year.
Yeah, so the first
so-
team is Shea, Luka, Tatum, Giannis, Jokic. Again, yeah, you can't really be like one of those guys clearly doesn't deserve it, but I think Brunson should have got it just because he put on such a
Over
carry
Tatum
job.
or Giannis. Like,
Yeah,
I just don't know how you could. Like, I know he had a
Wait,
super
he finished
team, but
5th in MVP voting.
yeah, he finished 5th in MVP voting and didn't make the All NBA first
That's what
team.
I mean. What is that even? How?
Did you see that before I mentioned the second team? Did you see that one guy? He's like some Spanish reporter,
oh, with
and
the bonus.
he voted
was
Sabonis like 4th in
ridiculous.
MVP vote. Yeah, and people like calling for his job. Like
Crazy,
it's
bro.
insane.
I mean, they're saying he's a soccer guy. Like, he doesn't want. Why is that guy voting?
Why
How
does
do
he?
you have
Why
a
does he even
vote,
vote?
bro?
Yeah.
Like, what the fuck? Give it to the BallGame podcast
Yeah,
at
I
that
mean,
point.
if
I
we're
promise
gonna
you we watch more.
sabotage like that, like that's a real problem.
That's insane.
And this has been an occurring problem. I mean, even a guy like Richard Jefferson, what the fuck is Shea Gilgeous-Alexander second on your defensive player of the year ballot for? How?
Second on defensive player.
That's insane.
How?
That's insane.
Nuts.
I mean, I said it when they dropped the results. Fucking Shea had more total all defensive votes than fucking Giannis. How is that possible, bro?
That's crazy.
How
Yeah,
are people
I mean,
watching?
Shea is a good defender.
Yeah.
No, he
Maybe-
definitely deserves some all defensive team love for sure. He had a great defensive year, but this is Giannis.
I think
Not
it was
over
more so
Giannis,
just
bro.
the difference in terms of like their 2 defenses and where they ranked, unfortunately, because like we always just look at numbers like specifically for
I
the
don't
most
know.
part.
That's just
And the Thunder were like top 7, I want to say, top 6.
That's just not how that works.
And Giannis was they were 15th or something
Shea
like
Matt-
that. So
Shea maybe wasn't even a top 3 defender on his team, bro.
no, he wasn't a top 3
Right,
defender.
exactly.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
So,
He wasn't.
so there
like,
we go.
Yeah.
It's,
What are we
it's-
doing?
It's
What are
Lou
we-
Dort, it's Chet, and it's probably
it's-
J-Dub.
Right,
Yeah.
and especially for a guy like Richard Jefferson. I mean, come on, bro.
He
Be better.
watches.
Right, be better. Be
I don't
better.
get that,
Commentate. He's
man.
at the games. He's watching the
Be
shit.
better. Be better.
You know?
He
So
was
the
a
second
ref in
team-
school, man.
Yeah. The second team is Brunson, Ant, Kawhi, Katie, Anthony Davis. And the third team is Steph, Booker, Halliburton, LeBron, Sabonis. I personally think LeBron should have been over Kawhi.
I
thought
think it's
Kawhi had a
splitting
phenomenal
hairs.
It's not like
He was
crazy.
in MVP discussions
Splitting
for quite a
hairs,
while, to
splitting
be
hairs.
honest.
Yeah, but yeah, I guess. Yeah, it's not like the end
When
of
the
the world.
Clippers were like really winning games, Kawhi was
Right.
insane.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's
it
true.
Was not normal.
I remember when we did the pod and we were reading his stats and he was averaging like 27 on like 55,
it's true.
47,
Right,
or
yeah.
92. Like,
Yeah. I can't believe he played enough games to qualify, honestly, and then
yeah,
just
it
like
breaks my
was out
goddamn
for the
heart that
playoffs.
he
Yeah.
really was out for the play. Like, it could be a different narrative with the Clippers long term if Kawhi had just been healthy for all these playoffs.
And then the snubs, like off the top of my head, Maxey. Some people saying Dame. I don't think Dame should have even
Dame's
been
not a
considered.
snub.
Like Bleacher had a slide of players,
Jaylen
and
Brown,
Jaylen Brown's definitely a snub.
probably
biggest
the biggest.
snub.
Maxey.
Biggest snub is
Yeah,
JB.
Bleacher Report had Harden as one of the snubs.
Nope.
And I'm like, who the hell thinks Harden should be on there? Fox.
Fox, yes.
Think that's
Definitely a snub.
I think I got everyone. Paul George, maybe, but
That's probably the three right there. Fox,
Zion.
Bobby, and
Zion, yeah. I think I had Zion on mine when we
Zion,
finished the
definitely up there.
yeah, Maxey, Fox, Brown. I probably would have given it to Brown over Halliburton.
I would have given it to
same way.
JB
I
over
would've-
Hallie probably too.
All
I
three
would
of
have
them.
given it to all three of them over Halliburton. Fuck Tyrese Halliburton, bro.
Ah, man. Hallie's still
He was dog shit for like 6 months.
But I agree that JB should have got it over him.
JB was
I
great
agree.
all year.
Fox probably. Fox maybe.
Maxey,
Maxey probably.
bro, you can't tell me with a straight face that
yeah, but
Tyrese
Reese was
Halliburton-
the best player on.
Maxey was the best player for like 3-4 months.
Yeah, but they fell off on those 3 to 4 months.
Well, when you lose the MVP, that's good.
No, I'm not disagreeing.
He
but
was
I'm just-
great.
I'm
He
just
was
no,
great.
I agree, but I'm just saying like Tyrese was the best player on the team and then got hurt and the Pacers fell apart. Came back and they were
That's
good again.
carried by Siakam.
No, we didn't. They started the season great,
bro, he was
with
ass,
him.
bro.
and then they
After
sucked when he
that.
got hurt.
And he
So
was still ass after that. He just
changed the
started
game for
turning
them.
up again.
in the playoffs, yeah.
Yeah, he definitely just started. He's cooking right now.
He is
for
cooking
Sure.
in
He's
the
playing
playoffs
like
at
an
the current
All-NBA
moment.
player
Right, yeah, yeah.
for sure.
He
but
definitely is.
guys who had full, complete, great seasons, Jaylen Brown, Tyrese Maxey, I'm taking
What the-
over him 100% of the time in this
Duke
scenario.
Cornette out the motherfucking game.
No, keep him in.
Jesus.
Yeah, I
Actually,
mean-
leave him in. Sorry.
So many great players, so it's so hard to like really nitpick a top 15 list like
Yeah.
that.
Right, yeah.
There's
All
always
deserving.
there's always going to be snubs. Yeah.
Everyone's deserving. They all deserve it.
Yeah.
Even all NBA fourth.
I'm sure if Tyrese Halliburton didn't make it, there would be a fucking rampage about it too. About he should have been All-NBA.
Give me an
so-
all NBA fourth team now.
It's really not the worst idea.
I
man.
want to see an all defensive third team. I want to see things get crazy.
I don't know if there's enough guys that
I think
There's
two's. I think
definitely-
two's good.
Two
But
is good for
yeah.
defense. I think. Two
Who
is
would
good.
be the All NBA defensive third team? Who was?
Who would?
I don't even know who got
snubs?
left off that shit.
Who
Was Hardenstein on it? Because then he's on the
Hartenstein
third
was
team.
not, 'cause
Yeah, he's on
he
the
would
third
have been
team.
on the third team. OG didn't play enough games.
No. He probably would have made one of the
So it
first
was
two.
Bam, AD, Rudy, Herb, Wemby, Caruso, Drew, J Mac, Suggs, and D White.
I see a lot of smoke that the Knicks are gonna go for Herb Jones. Everyone on Knicks Twitter is really begging for that right now.
That'd be crazy.
I don't
That'd be so
know.
cool.
Yeah,
I
but like if
just
we
don't
have
see
OG,
where he
like what?
fits.
Like we
I
have
don't see
other
where he fits right
we have
now.
other things to take care of.
But yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, I
what
can't
the
really
third
think
team
of.
would
I
look
can't really
like.
think of anybody off the top of my head.
Yeah, I can't either. Isaiah definitely would be on that.
They
shit.
should have the non-all defensive team. It's like Jordan
The
Poole.
worst.
Like
Worst in the league. Jordan Poole would be right there, top on that list, honestly. But yeah, I think that's everything, right?
Yeah, that's that with that.
Cool.
yeah,
Come on.
All right, well, basketball was
We'll
fun.
stay on the topic of defense. So
yeah.
we're going to be ranking the top 10 NFL defenses going into the 2024 season. How do you guys want to do this? You want to do like one by one, or do you want to do 5 at a time? What are we thinking?
I think we're gonna want to talk about each team specifically a little bit.
Oh my God,
So what the hell?
Jaylen Brown just missed the fucking rim, just clanked off the backboard. I don't know if he like tried to draw a foul or something, but
Peyton Pritchard's good at basketball, man.
I wish he would have missed that.
All right, I would say we go one by one.
Yeah.
I would say we go one by one.
All right, let's start it off. Who you guys got at number 10?
All right, Tom, get us started.
Uh,
Go down the line.
yeah. Hang on. You mean
Wait, no, let's do 5 at a time. I think it's better.
Or do we want to just give our full lists?
Nah, do 5 at a time, and then we'll deliberate, and then we'll go, like give your 5 and
We'll
like
talk about it?
talk about them as you go. Like tell
As
me
you go?
why you
Yeah,
have
yeah,
them here,
okay.
Okay.
And then after we give our 5, we'll go through the discrepancies and argue
Alright.
whatever we have to do, and
So
then go.
I'm gonna actually
So go-
write down
go
the way
10
you
to
guys
6.
put it.
Yeah, hang on. Let me just get my.
So that I have a minute.
All right, I'll go. I'll
yeah,
go
you
right
go
now.
first.
All right.
Go
Because
for
I
it.
fucking.
So at number 10, I have the Chicago Bears. At number 9, I have the Packers. The Bears, I think they kind of are just building off of what they did last year. They were great once they acquired Montez Sweat, Jalen Johnson, you brought him back. A bunch of young pieces on that defense. You know, you stiffened up the linebacker core last offseason with Edwards and Edmonds, right? Yeah, Edwards and Edmonds. So Matt Eberflus is still calling plays for them. So I expect them to build off that. The Packers, I think they have a great unit. They just kind of underperform. They have the guys, and I think adding a safety like Xavier McKinney is just going to help everything, and he could kind of be the captain of the secondary and just keep everyone in line over the middle of the field. So I really like the Packers defense this year. At 8, I have the Ravens. I just think they lost too much, especially losing Mr. McDonald. You lost Roquan in the middle of the not Roquan, you lost Patrick Queen. Sorry, excuse me. You lost Patrick Queen. I just think they lost too much. I know they're still going to be, that's why I have them still in the top 10. I still think they're going to be great, but I think some of these other teams are just going to be better. Number 7, talked about losing Patrick Queen. I have the Pittsburgh Steelers. You know, you add a guy like Patrick Queen to be the captain of your, not the captain, but the Mike linebacker of your defense. You have a guy in TJ Watt who's arguably the best defensive player of this generation outside of Aaron Donald. So I expect the Steelers to be great. And my number 6 is the Dallas Cowboys. Great at getting to the quarterback. 2 guys who should be able to make a ton of plays on the ball in the secondary with a healthy Trayvon Diggs. But we all know the Cowboys can't stop the run. That's why I can't put them any higher. So that's my 10 through 6. Bears, Packers, Ravens, Steelers, Cowboys.
All right. So I'll just go. I'll go next. Or are we commentating on his? I'll go. We just
Do we want to
keep going.
All right, I definitely do have a few bones to pick with this one. So the Bears, I think Sweat and
I think it makes more sense to give your, because then you'll kind of like give away where you're gonna have these teams. You know.
That's fair. That's fair.
So do you want to go first? Or you want me to
So
go first?
here's the. I'll go real quick.
Okay.
So here's the craziest part. 3 of the teams that you listed, I don't even have in my top 10, which is kind of wild.
Interesting.
So this shows that we're going to be very different on this list, which I like a lot.
Oh,
actually.
I'm sorry. I also didn't mention. I wrote 2 honorable mentions, just didn't make my cut. I had the Eagles and Lions as honorable mentions.
Holy shit! Wow. Oh my God, I have them very high. Wow, this is very different.
The Eagles, I love the Eagles draft. Obviously, you draft 2 corners. The secondary was one of the bigger concerns. for
Secondary
them.
was Swiss cheese
But
last year.
their linebackers were also dog shit, and they didn't really address their off-the-ball linebackers, and I think that's going to be a huge problem for them. And having the Eagles as a top 10 defense is basically saying you trust the 2 rookie corners to be immediate impact players. And I really like them, and that's why they're an honorable mention. I probably have them at 11 or 12, but those guys have to be really freaking good for this to be a top 10 defense.
So I still think there's a lot of ball left in Darius Slay. And I think that it was exacerbated by an entire defense that didn't know what the fuck they were doing for the most part. But I'll get into the Eagles and dive deeper when I get to them. They're not in my 10 through 6. That's just a little bit of how confident I am on them. All right, so at number 10, I have the New Orleans Saints. At number 9, I have the Kansas City Chiefs. At number 8, I have the new head coach and the new defense there, the Seattle Seahawks. At number 7, I have the Houston Texans. And at number 6, I have the Cleveland Browns. So,
Texans are a good pick. I didn't even
just
really
to
think
talk
about
about my list a little bit. The Saints down the stretch of last season were one of the best defenses in the entire NFL. Only got better. I think adding Chase Young on a prove-it deal was a big-time move for them. Whether Chase Young is great or not, I mean, it helps in some way, shape, or form. Overall, I think there's a few players on that defense that don't really get the credit that they deserve. I think it's an underrated defense overall. I mean, Demario Davis is one of the best players in the entire NFL and just continues to get slept on at that linebacker position over and over again. Paulson Adebo had a great season last year. Marshawn Lattimore, when healthy, is awesome. Tyrann Mathieu is still a dog. Nothing's changed there. I think the biggest thing with them that people have concerns about is their depth. Depth at edge rusher. And I think Carl Granderson had a great season in limited pass rush snaps last season. I think he's going to be awesome this year. I think Brian Breesy takes another step this year. And I think overall, I mean, they're more than the sum of their parts. I think this is a defense that continuously just outperforms expectations because Dennis Allen. And yeah, I mean, all in all, Cam Jordan can still ball a little bit, and yeah, I think this defense is going to be better than people realize. So I had them at 10, and Kool-Aid McKinstry, who I actually had as one of the best corners in this draft. It's my second best corner or third best corner in this draft, and he's there. Chiefs are the Chiefs. Don't got to dive too deep into that. And then 8 and 7 are two big additions on this list. I mean, the Seahawks just added Mike McDonald. And yes, they lost Bobby Wagner, but I think their pass rush got a lot better. They drafted Byron Murphy, who I think is going to be great off rip for them. Interior of their D-line's loaded, Leonard Williams. They added Tyrell Dodson from the Bills to help fill the void of Bobby Wagner, who was solid. And then, of course, their secondary is just insane. I mean, Reek Woolen and Devon Witherspoon is your corner duo. Come on, it doesn't get much better than that. Texans, we know what the Texans did this offseason. Daniil Hunter and Will Anderson, that alone, probably going to make you a top half of the league defense, not to mention Derek Stingley, shutdown corner. Safeties are underrated. D'Amico Ryans is one of the best in the entire league. You added depth to the interior D-line. And, yeah, I think the Texans are great. And then, of course, the Browns, nothing changed. So we're still here. So, yeah, that's my 10 through 6.
So I had the Bears at 10, but I totally forgot about the Texans, and I definitely want to slot them in there. Like you said, they made some huge additions this offseason. We know what they're going to be. But you guys pretty much, I think we have a few different teams. We'll see. So I have the Texans at 10. I have the Raiders at 9.
They were one of my honorable mentions.
I love the Raiders, and I think having a guy like Max Crosby will mask up a lot of the, if any, deficiencies on your defense. Nate Hobbs is a baller in the secondary. They added Christian Wilkins. They definitely got some ballers out there.
Jack Jones, baby.
Jack Jones, yep, for sure. Next up, I have the Steelers. They picked up Patrick Queen. They were super banged up on defense last year as well. Cam Hayward missed basically the whole season, right? And their offense got better for what it's worth. Probably not much better, but when your offense gets better, your defense should reap the benefits of that as well. My number, what was that?
You're at 8 now.
I'm at 8.
I think, or 7.
10, 9, 8, 7.
Yeah,
I'm at 7.
Texans.
My number 7 is the New England Patriots, another team that, similar to the Steelers, they were super banged up on defense last year. I think Matt Judon missed a ton of the season. Christian Gonzalez was out for basically the entire year. And their offense also got better, so that will only help. And now Bill Belichick's gone, but I think they could figure it out on defense. They were super good against the run last year. And really good on third down. And then that puts me at 6. I have the Baltimore Ravens. They lost a lot on defense. But I could easily see them being higher on this because the Ravens just seem to always figure it out on defense. They always
when I put them at 8.
Right.
I was like, they're probably going to be top 3. But
Right, yeah, they're gonna figure it out. But they're still gonna be super effective.
So I guess we'll talk a little bit about each other's lists. You had the Bears at 10. So my only issue with the Bears is who's stopping the run? Like, they're going to get gashed, I think. Their linebackers are solid, but, like, aside from Montez Sweat, it's like that D-line is suspect, man.
Yeah.
And I was just trying to, when I, like, put this together, my list at least, I wanted to see teams that, like, can you stop the run? Can you also rush the passer? And then how good is your back end? Like, it's like, because if you're getting gashed on the ground, why would I put you super high? Because then you're going to get killed in the playoffs. So you're not a great defense in the end. So I actually, wow, this is kind of crazy. I left the Cowboys off my list. Holy shit.
It's understandable. I have them at 6, but I definitely considered leaving them off entirely.
I don't love the Cowboys because if you can't, and the Packers the same thing for me. I love that defense, and I looked at it. They're in my honorable mentions, but they're going to get gashed on the ground too, I think. So
Packers feel like a team that's going to play better than they are, though. You know,
yes, their defense down the stretch of last season was great.
Yeah.
So, and then the Steelers, they have T.J. Watt, they have Alex Highsmith, they added Dante Jackson to be their second corner too. So they're Minka Fitzpatrick, they're star-studded. So I mean,
The thing about the Bears is they weren't the worst against the run, and I'm looking at their stats from week 9 on last year. They were pretty insane against the pass. In terms of just overall EPA per play, they were 5th defensively. Success rate, they were 10th. Dropback EPA, they were 4th, and then dropback success rate, they were 6th. So they were pretty, and rushing EPA, they were 10th.
Oh, wow.
Isn't
Surprising.
not bad, yeah.
Yeah, I was gonna say I have here. I just happen to have it up on this article. After September, Chicago held its opponents to 78.8 rushing yards per game. But sometimes if they're giving up against the pass, but their pass defense was pretty good too.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
I'll look if I see it next year, then I'm
Yeah,
proving
man.
wrong.
Yeah,
but
for sure.
I don't know, just the personnel. It's
Understandable.
a little shaky, but Eberflus is a dog, so I expect him to figure that stuff out.
And I like that they kept everyone.
Yes, that's
Jalen
a big deal.
Johnson's back. Montez Sweat is still there. You kept everyone. So
They made some additions to that secondary too, so I'm pretty sure.
Yeah,
they,
I'm really vibing
Kevin
with-
Byard,
yes,
Yeah.
I'm really vibing with these young defenses who are keeping their
core together.
cores intact. Same thing with the Packers. They added Xavier McKinney, but for the most part, they've kept everyone there. You still have Jair. You still have Rashawn Gary. So you have
That
some
pass
dogs.
rush is crazy.
Yeah, you have some dogs.
Pass
man.
rush is crazy.
The Seahawks was an interesting one because I think the Seahawks lack personnel compared to a lot of these teams, but Mike McDonald was elite with the Ravens that I could so see it happening. And they have some young guys who have been kind of iffy, but
Yes.
have all these like crazy athletic tools that it's just like they need to put it together. And if anyone could get them to put it together, it is Mike McDonald. So I think that's actually a really sneaky pick. That I really like that one because they could surprise a lot of people as a unit.
What McDonald was great at last year was getting the best out of his pass rushers
Right.
too.
Yeah.
And there's, like you said, a bunch of dudes on the Seahawks that have these ridiculous pass rushing traits
Right.
that maybe haven't fully translated to this point. So I'm like, I think their pass rush is going to be one of the best in the league.
Yeah.
Like you also you have Leonard Williams on the inside, and now you added Byron Murphy to the inside of that deal, bro. It's like it's going to be.
they
I
have a
think they're
good
going to be
group there.
legit.
They
And
have
then
a
that
good
secondary is great. So yeah. All in all, I mean,
Did they bring in safeties? Who'd they bring in at safety?
who were their safeties? Julian Love is one of them, who was awesome for them last year.
But they lost.
They lost Jamal.
They lost.
Did they lose
Jamal and They
Diggs?
lost Diggs too, right?
They lost
both of them.
Quandre, I'm pretty sure.
Jamal sucks.
Did they
But
bring
Rayshawn
any?
Jenkins.
Oh.
Okay.
Okay.
Not terrible.
He was on the Jags, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
A vet. But Reek Woolen and Devon Witherspoon is really where I look at. And I'm just like,
Tariq Woolen's Madden card is so much better than Tariq Woolen was in real life this year. So like, when I think of Tariq Woolen, I'm thinking like
one of the best
top
ever.
3 corner in the game, bro. And he was not good last.
No, he
year.
wasn't.
He was not.
He
good
wasn't.
last year.
I expect him to
But
be
he's
a lot
another
better
guy
too.
who has all the every tool in the book athletically.
Right.
Yeah,
6'4",
exactly.
running a 4. What do you run, a 4.29 or something?
Four.
No.
Yeah.
Yeah,
He was
it
in
was
the
a
4.2s, I'm
4.2s,
pretty
yeah.
sure.
He's
Pretty sure
insane.
Reek's in the
He's
4.2.
insane.
That's normal.
And then Mike McDonald, again, he was getting great performances from Brandon Stevens, a 6th-round pick and stuff. Like,
Yeah.
like come on, like give him the traits, give him
Yeah.
the talent. And
The Saints, I like some of their guys. The thing with the Saints for me is I feel like they could just turn into dust at any given moment.
Yeah.
They're old.
They're
They
just
are
the
old.
epitome of mid. Like
They
that's
have
just
some
it.
Guys who've done
They have a
some
lot of
things,
really
but
talented
but
players
they're
on the
old.
defense.
Like,
Right. Yeah.
when
Yeah.
is Demario Davis going to stop being an all-pro
Oh
linebacker?
my
It has to
God.
come eventually, right?
Cam Jordan.
Yeah.
Yeah, but
Tyrann Mathieu. How long could Tyrann
was
Mathieu
awesome
be good
last year.
for?
he
Like,
was awesome last year.
how many-
Marshawn Lattimore, how many more injuries do we got
right,
before
that's
he's
what I'm
washed?
saying. I have a hard like I wouldn't be shocked if they were a top 10 defense, obviously, but it's hard to for me personally, it's hard to trust that some of these guys aren't going to.
But they've also made some young additions
for
that I
sure.
think
Getting
are
a
going
guy
to
like
take steps.
Kool-Aid and is fucking huge for them. And Granderson, like you said, was phenomenal for them off the edge last year. So they're a team
Adding
that-
Chase Young on a 1-year deal, probably going to get hurt, but
Chase Young
or
was so
2 years,
dog
maybe it
shit
was.
last year, bro.
you would think
Niners,
he was bad for the
good,
Niners.
He was great for the Commanders.
Awesome
I
for the
wish they
Commanders.
didn't
Well, he's
fucking
starting
trade
the year, so he
was sick.
He was sick.
Bro,
Dominating.
that was my dark horse fucking depoy, bro, and he was cooking.
Yeah. I like their defense.
I was
a lot.
heartbroken when they fucking traded both those guys to the Commanders. Heartbroken, dude.
Yeah, it was rough.
In terms of your list, I like your list. the Patriots and Raiders were tough for me because I gave them some consideration. My thought process was just, I know you mentioned their offenses got better. I just thought their offenses were going to be so bad that those teams' their defenses are going to be
Don't
on
stand
the
a chance.
field
Yeah.
too much that they don't.
Yeah,
stand
it's
a chance.
totally fair.
In terms of like the personnel and the construction, the Patriots especially, the Patriots have the construction of a not even top 10. They have the construction of a top 5 defense.
Yep.
In
Right.
the NFL. Before Matthew Judon got hurt last year, he was playing like the fucking decoy. He was
Yep.
cooking last year. Christian Gonzalez should be back, and he was another one playing
He's so
phenomenal
good,
before
yeah.
he got hurt. So they definitely have the dogs. I also do have a little bit of concerns with them losing Belichick. I don't know how Mayo's going to
I think all the principles are still going to be there.
You would think.
You
but
drill it into all those dudes to a point. So I think it's like,
You would think.
and Belichick was the biggest advocate for Gerard Mayo. So I don't. We'll see what happens.
Yeah, but he also
there.
drafted N'Keal Harry.
And yeah, he doesn't have an offensive eye, bro. He doesn't have an offensive
Definitely
eye.
not.
But I will say another thing. The Raiders, I wanted to put them on my list so bad. They're one of the most underrated defenses going into next season, and I absolutely love them.
Yeah.
I think that was a great pick. Their pass rush is awesome. Outside of even Max, adding Christian Wilkins, like,
Hopefully my
It's
boy
huge
Terry
get.
Wilson takes a step.
yeah,
up.
you
That's
would
my guy,
hope
bro.
so. And I mean, their linebackers, Robert Spillane was awesome last year for them, and then their back end is way better than people realize.
Yeah, yeah.
Way better than people.
Yeah, Nate Hobbs is nice, bro.
And then, of course, if you have a great defense coordinator, usually you're gonna figure things out. And I mean,
Right.
Antonio Pierce is a dog, so yeah, I
didn't even
think they
mention
got a squad there. All right, what
Alright.
we got for? We'll go 5 through 1, or do we want to?
We'll go 5
Yeah,
through
5
1.
through
All right, let's do it.
So I'm going to just do like an intro in case I make just the 5 like a TikTok or something.
Yeah, yeah.
These are our top 5 defenses going into the 2024 NFL season. All right, so at number 5, I have the Texans. You guys mentioned it. You add a guy like Danielle Hunter. You have Will Anderson on the other side of him who's going to keep growing. You have Derek Stingley, who had a great year last year, especially in the back end of he had that one game. I forgot who they played. Derek Stingley had one game where he went crazy. He had like a few interceptions. Maybe it was versus the Browns. I don't know.
No, he got cooked.
No, he got
by
torched.
Amari.
Oh, right,
he got
right,
torched by Amari.
It was when Amari
He
put
had
up like
one game, though,
52.
where he really cooked.
Yeah,
though,
Amari
had
went
a few
Yeah, yeah,
picks,
yeah.
in that
but
game, bro.
You have Derek Stingley. You added Azeez Al-Shahir, too.
I like
who
that.
I think could be great in the middle of their defense. So, they were really good last year.
That's
You
a
mentioned
D'Amico
it.
move right
D'Amico
there.
Ryans should, yeah, for sure. D'Amico Ryans should get the most out of this group. So I think they're going to be lethal. At number 4, I had the 49ers. What's understood doesn't need to be said about the 49ers. You have Nick Bosa. You're going to be great. Number 3, I had the Chiefs. I know they lost with Jarius Sneed. There's not a defensive coordinator in the NFL I trust more than Steve Spagnuolo. You still have Chris Jones. You still have Trent McDuffie, who, after the performance he had in the Super Bowl, that might be the start of his breakout right there. He might carry that momentum into this year and have an insane year at the cornerback position. So I trust Spags more than anyone in the NFL. 2-1 was so tough for me, bro. It was so tough for me because both these teams pretty much brought everyone back and were the top 2 defenses in the NFL last year. Just to piss our good friend Dean Wagner off, I went with the Jets at 2, and I put the Cleveland Browns at number 1, bro. You've Myles Garrett, the best defensive player in the NFL. That's all I need to hear.
Right.
But no, you have Denzel Ward out there. Which Smith brother?
Za'Darius is back.
Smith. I always get them confused. Za'Darius Smith.
Preston's
and Preston
on the
Smith
Packers.
because
Yeah,
they were both on the Packers at the same time.
Yep.
So I always get them fucking
They were such a
confused.
duo.
Yeah,
they were
cool.
such a great duo.
But you have Za'Darius Smith. So Owusu Koramoah just got a 99
Dog.
overall in Madden. So shout out to him. But yeah, and same thing for the Jets. We know who both these defenses have. I was surprised you had the Browns so low.
Yeah, so the reason I put the Browns at 6 was simply because of the fact that they got fucking torched on the road. I don't want to say torched consistently, but it was a clear discrepancy between their defense at home and their defense on the road. So I was like, you know what? I'm going to split the difference. I want to put them high, so I put them at 6. It was low for them, but because of that, I was like, show me that you could defend on the road now, too, and we'll go from there. But that was the only reason.
Yeah, so I think it's splitting hairs with the Jets and the Browns defenses, honestly.
Okay. All right. I'll give my 5 through 1. So at number 5, I have the Baltimore Ravens. Don't see too much of a slippage from them. They always figure it out no matter who it is. At number 4, I have the Philadelphia Eagles. As I said before, I'm very high on the rookies that they gained. I also think getting Bryce Huff, a younger version of Hassan Reddick in a way, is going to help them a lot. I think Jalen Carter and Jordan Davis are going to take big steps this year, too, for them. I think the Eagles are going to be just fine. Nakobe Dean is going to be awesome for them, too.
Oh, my God.
It's going to be the Philadelphia Bulldogs. I'll tell you that right now.
Imagine having Kobe and Dean Wagner's name in your name, bro.
Nakobe Dean. That's an all-timer.
Yeah.
At number 3, this one is the surprise, I think. It's the Detroit Lions. And I think the Detroit Lions are going to have one of the best defenses in the NFL this year. Last year, they were locked down against the run. What was their biggest issue? They couldn't defend the pass. So now here they are. They go out. They get Carlton Davis. Then they decide to go and get arguably the best corner in the entire draft in Terrion Arnold. They already have Brian Branch, who is one of the best slot corners / safeties in the entire NFL. And he's only going to get better. Excuse me. And then they add DJ Reader as well to the defensive line. Marcus Davenport on a prove-it deal. They have depth at the pass rush, depth on the interior of the defensive line. It's a ridiculous team. I think the Lions are...
You're right, bro. What am I doing? I'm gonna bump the Bears out, and I'm gonna put the Lions at 7.
Okay.
So
Wow. I've convinced
Lions
you. Let's
go. Lions at 7, Steelers at 8, Ravens at 9, Packers at 10.
Okay.
You're right.
Yeah, you're definitely right, but I won't do it.
Like, don't get it twisted.
you're
Carlton
right.
Davis wasn't phenomenal last year by any means, but what they were dealing with last year,
And they were so good in terms of defending the run. They don't need fucking Jalen Ramsey to go play cornerback. for them,
No,
you know
they
what
were
I
great
mean?
in the playoffs
Right,
too.
yeah.
Like,
Yeah, you don't need fucking Sauce Gardner out there. Like, you can't have everything.
and Terry Arnold might be for all we know.
Yeah,
so
they
we'll
did
see.
a great job addressing it.
So
If that was their only hole and they addressed it like that, there's no reason they're not a top 10 defense next year.
and their linebackers are crazy too. All
3
of
might
them,
be a
so.
little bit crazy, but they definitely should be a top 10.
It's projecting.
I also think Aiden, you need to have one of those guys to be that high, and I think they got one of those guys.
He's one of them.
And I think Brian Branch is one of them ones too now. So he's an ultimate chess piece on defense. All right, so at number 2, I have the San Francisco 49ers, and I think a big deal that isn't mentioned as much is Talanoa Hufanga is going to be back. He was phenomenal for them prior to tearing his ACL, unfortunately. He comes back. Their pass rush is still insane. They added a few more guys this year. They always manage to get the deepest pass rush in the entire NFL. I think the only issue that I have is Dre Greenlaw likely being out for the start of next season.
What a tragedy, man.
That is a real
man,
fucking
yeah.
tragedy.
Might win the Super Bowl if that doesn't happen.
Yeah, yeah. But I don't see too much of a slippage there. And then at number 1, Dean Wagner, give yourself a round of applause. Your team might be in Super Bowl contention this year because the New York Jets are the number 1 defense in the NFL. And I don't really need to dive too deep into why.
Nope.
Amazing linebackers, one of the best pass rushes in the league, and arguably the best corner duo in the entire NFL. It's just that simple.
I remember last year I tried to argue with Dean that the Dolphins had a better linebacker duo than fucking the Jets.
Quincy and CJ.
Because the Dolphins got David Long Jr., bro.
Oof.
Rough.
Oh, boy.
Rough.
That aged well.
I was comparing David Long Jr. and Javon Baker. Not Javon Baker, whatever.
Jerome Baker, who is now a Seahawk, by the way.
Yeah, Jerome Baker to fucking Quincy Williams and CJ Mosley, bro. What
Wow.
an idiot I am.
That's good stuff.
Yeah.
All right, so my top 5, I'd probably change it if I could. Might swap 5 and 6, but we're here. Why would I do that? I went with the Dallas Cowboys. Yeah, their defense was Swiss cheese against the run. But again, you have Micah Parsons. For the regular season, at least, that'll elevate you. I've said it many times on this podcast. I don't trust Cowboys as far as I can throw them and as far as the playoffs come, but we're not talking about that right now. Number 4, I have the 49ers. Again, you got Nick Bosa, you got Fred Warner. They're always great on defense. They're going to be great again this year. Hufanga, huge piece coming back for them. Number 3, I have the Kansas City Chiefs. Might be a little high, but Chris, you made a good point about Spags. Nobody I trust more in the history of football, maybe, other than Belichick, to figure it out on defense. And they got some good pieces there, too. You got Chris Jones on the interior. You got Trent McDuffie out there. They're going to be just fine. Number 2, I agree with you, Chris. I think it's splitting hairs. I gave our friend Dean Wagner what he wanted. I have the Browns at 2 and the Jets at 1. The Browns were missing Garrett for a few games last year. I definitely think that makes a difference, especially when you go look at their.
45-year-old, $45 million man that might not be able to throw a football anymore. So
If he plays worse than fucking Joe Flacco,
he will play worse.
like
than
Flacco
Joe
played,
Flacco.
played.
I think seeing Flacco go out there and play so great is motivation for him.
Bro, if I'm Deshaun, like
Bro,
I gotta
I
be
don't know, man.
you gotta be sitting there like, bro, if Joe Flacco can go out there and do that, there's no way I can.
Yeah, for sure.
Getting Nick Chubb back is at least will help.
Are we bro? I love Nick Chubb, first of all, and I hope that man comes back to 100%. But
so
brother,
tough,
that's
bro.
the second time he's destroyed
Split that shit in half.
that knee. Destroyed that knee. If there's one guy I'll bet on, yeah, sure, it's Nick Chubb. Don't get me wrong, but I don't think I'm betting on
Tough to
it.
trust the running back after 2.
Yeah, that shit was fucking great. Yeah, he did split his knee in
It's
half for the
actually
second
crazy
time. You're
because
actually
Nick Chubb
right.
is
We were at
really-
Hobrow watching that game.
Yeah, I know,
Right? That
yeah.
was Browns Steelers.
Yeah.
That was a crazy game too. That was a nuts
Yeah.
That was
game.
heartbreaking, bro. Nick Chubb really is one of the greatest running backs of all time, too. In terms of just on a per carry basis, he really is.
Pure runner of football, absolutely.
Yes,
yeah.
one of the best pure runners of the football ever. And we got robbed of
A great
his.
We had to
last,
watch
like,
Jerome
3-4
Ford.
years. Yeah, man, it's heartbreaking. It really is.
Jerome
but
Ford, make sure you draft him in fantasy.
all I got out of this is there's a lot of great defense in the NFL right now. Like a lot of really,
Yeah,
really
because
really
like we
good
all had a
defense.
top 10, but you easily could slot in like probably 3 or 4 other
Bro, I left
teams.
the Cowboys off.
Yeah.
And it honestly, the main reason I left them off, and I'll just dive into this, bro, your biggest issue was the run game. You were getting destroyed. You did absolutely nothing
They
to
did.
fix it.
They did nothing
Not a thing.
to address anything.
Eric Kendricks, that's
They
it.
didn't do anything to address it, but they were still I don't know. They were still a top 10 regular season defense. last
Yeah,
year.
yeah.
Right. So I don't expect that to fall. I agree. Like come postseason time, that's still a glaring.
that
hole.
matters for me, too.
Yeah. for
Right.
sure.
That went into part of my rankings.
Oh,
I'm
how
thinking
you-
like
Okay.
how I view them come playoffs.
I was
as well.
kind of doing who I think will be the top 10 like regular season
Okay.
defenses. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Like stats wise.
If I
Yeah,
did that
yeah.
stats wise, it'd probably
It's hard to
be
leave
slightly
them off if you're
different.
doing it like that.
Yeah,
but
but-
come postseason time, I don't trust them still for sure.
No.
100%.
That's why I wanted these all around
Yeah.
defenses where like
Yeah.
I could see you stopping the pass, I could see you stopping
Right.
the run. So
I'll ask you guys a question before we end this. I think ESPN posted this earlier today. Which NFL team that didn't make the playoffs last year are you most confident in making it this year?
It's got off the top of my head, it's got to be the Jets.
just didn't make the playoffs that I'm most confident.
The Jets are definitely up there.
I was gonna go look at the teams, but my initial thought is the Jets as I wear a Giants jersey.
The Bengals.
I was about
Oh,
to
the
say
Bengals,
that.
yeah,
I was
Bengals
about
is
to
a
say
great
the
pick.
Bengals. That was
Bengals might
honestly
be
the
the
first
pick.
team.
You saw Joe's new hair?
Yeah, that's
He's got a
crazy.
flow now, bro.
Yeah. Honestly, it's the Bengals, it's the Jets.
I think the Bears are
Bears
in the
are in the conversation, yes. That's a loaded division, bro.
Yeah.
That division is stacked
Yeah.
now. Holy
Um,
shit. I like this is a weird one, but I really like the Colts going into the season.
I was gonna say that too. You know how I feel about the Colts. I love the Colts.
I
Those are
really
my
like
dogs.
the Colts going into the season.
Colts are a good one.
Are we rocking
Jags,
with Harbaugh?
I don't think
Not
year
this year,
one.
right? Definitely
think
not
year
over
one.
like Cincy or the Jets, but
And,
How about the Falcons?
Falcons,
Oh, yeah.
obviously, of course, yeah.
the Falcons might be the pick just because of their division. Like
Let's
they
get to
have to
this.
win
Let's
that
give
division,
a-
right?
Let's give a top 3.
Top 3.
And you're like not as confident to most confident being number 1.
So
It's tough with the
I think it's those 3.
it's definitely it's
teams.
Falcons, Cincy, Jets in my opinion.
Yeah.
I'll go. It's tough. I'll go Bengals 3 just because they're in the toughest division. I'll go Falcons 2, Jets 1 just because if like I just said they're gonna have the best defense in the NFL and they get Aaron Rodgers back, there's no way you don't make the playoffs. And I think they'll win that division too. But if you want to go like simplicity of like the Falcons just because they should run away with their division, it's not a problem. It's a good pick.
Yeah, so I'm actually going to go with the Jets at 3 just because out of all these teams, I just don't trust their health the most.
Okay.
You know, that's the thing
completely
that
fair.
scares me the most. At 2, I'm going to go with the Falcons. You mentioned it. They have the easiest division between the bunch. Kirk Cousins obviously takes this team to a new level. But I'm just still a little washy about their defense. I really didn't like their offseason as a whole. I know they got Kirk Cousins, but they really didn't do much on the defensive side of the ball, and I think it was a missed opportunity for them, but that's a topic for another time. And at number 1, I'm going to go with the Bengals. I know they're in the tough AFC North, but shit, last time we saw Joe Burrow healthy, he took them to a Super Bowl, so I'm going to trust that guy. I'm going to go with the Bengals at 1.
The T. Higgins thing could be a real problem, though.
It definitely can be.
That definitely can be. And also, I'm a little bit scared of the wrist injury for Burrow.
Yeah,
I have not heard a lot of good things about that.
Yeah.
Really?
I have not heard good things about that.
Might linger for him for the rest of his life.
That's insane.
Yeah, it's said.
They really fucked that up. Then
I think D-Butt said that, and Pac-Man Jones said the same thing on the Pat McAfee show. They said they both had that surgery. I think it was them two that said it, and they were like, or AJ Hawk, and they were like, our wrists were never the same. Like
Ouch.
ever the same.
Yeah, especially
they
for
don't, I was gonna say they don't play no quarterback. Yeah,
But I also
that's
read
an all-time fumble.
I also read that they played through it in the season, which probably made it worse. Burrow went straight out, and apparently Burrow packed on some weight too.
Well, he didn't go straight out.
So
They played him for like 5. That's the issue though. They played him for like 5
That's a good
games. Like
point.
that could have totally been the downfall of
I
it.
think he had a different issue.
Yeah,
that
it was
he
a
dealing with.
different
calf,
injury
wasn't
going
it?
in.
Oh, it was a
That's what
calf.
he
You're
did.
right.
And-
Yeah. You guys are right. Yeah.
Yeah,
It was
yeah,
calf.
It wasn't like the hand was linked.
Right. Yeah. You're right.
All right. So for me, I'm gonna say at number 3, I'm gonna put the Cincinnati Bengals. It's a loaded division. I don't know how to feel yet about it's Joe Burrow. He's a dog. Don't get me wrong. And I'm confident that all 3 of these teams will make it. By the way, but I just think of all of them, that AFC North is hell. And I don't know. There's too many factors there. At number 2, I have the New York Jets because of the reason that you mentioned. The health keeps me from putting them at number 1. And, of course, at number 1, the only remaining team, I have the Atlanta Falcons. Because of the division, I think it's pretty much just them or the Saints at this point. Bucks could be involved. Don't get me wrong.
I still think it's theirs to lose.
Wow, I think that was the first time we did something like this where we all had completely different.
I was just gonna say we all had completely different
We
lists.
never
Yeah,
do that.
no,
No.
even
we
the
normally always say the same shit.
Right.
Wow.
Yeah.
It was crazy because the defensive list too, like so far off from each other, so far off. But yeah, the Falcons. I think they are still the most complete team in that division all overall. I do find it interesting though. This is now no longer a part of that. The Saints made a big move this offseason that had nothing to do with like personnel. They fired their old offensive coordinator. And they hired an offensive coordinator from, I want to say San Francisco. Not the OC there, but the pass game coordinator from San Fran. And what I saw is the New Orleans Saints last year were by far the worst in the league in terms of pre-motion plays. Coming in from the offense that had the most motion in the entire NFL is now their offensive coordinator.
Shit, I got
So,
motion.
that could make a big difference for them.
Since
Could
Burke-
Taysom Hill fill the Kyle Juszczyk role for Saints?
Yeah, and he
We'll
will.
see.
Yeah, he absolutely will.
Good thing he's on my dynasty team.
Um,
We're gonna cook Taysom Hill.
and I think that
I hate
Saints,
Taysom Hill.
The only issue is
I'm
their
not a
O-line
big
sucks.
fan
but
either.
wait, why?
Taysom Hill.
No, I hate
This.
Taysom
Why?
Hill. I hate
He's
Taysom
one of the
Hill.
greatest football players in the world.
They gave him a golden ticket.
I hate
Madden.
the Saints.
Quarterback.
Oh boy,
Oh wow. I hate the Saints with Taysom Hill because every
they're
time
boring.
he is under center, he runs it. And he somehow still rips off like 15, 20 yards.
don't they know?
How do you
How
not
don't they
know
know?
that he's running the ball?
Well, he's a massive human being,
He's a big, but like he gets clear gaps.
and he's fast.
No, I know.
Yo,
He's a
you
good
know what-
player.
Speaking of Madden, sorry, I just love bringing everything back to Madden. You know what there is now? MMG posted a video, the 1,000-pound backfield. There's 99 overall quarterback Vince Wilfork with 98
Wow.
speed. There's There's 99 overall running back William the Pit Fridge Perry with.
Oh my God.
That's
The
crazy.
Pacers haven't scored. What? How much time is left?
Wow.
Less than what?
Wow.
So they haven't scored at all in the second quarter yet.
Oh, well, there we go.
He might miss both. But
Bro, that's half a quarter. Oh my God.
so it's Vince Wilfork quarterback with all these crazy abilities. William the Fridge Perry at running back, 99 overall, and then 99 overall Trent Williams fullback.
Hell is this shit?
It's crazy.
What the hell is this?
They just did this promo. I don't know. It's called like Theme Team All Stars or some shit. Where they dropped a card for every team, but they dropped mad out of position cards. So like my cornerbacks now are cornerback Kyle Pitts and cornerback Joe Alt. My middle line,
Cornerback Joe Alt.
yeah.
6'9"
Yeah,
corner.
he's only 94 overall, but he's fucking 6'9", gets the abilities, and has like 90
What's his speed?
like 96, I think.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's doable for being 6'9". I play him in the flat, so he doesn't have to run much, so he can't get beat over the top. I've Jordan
can knock everything down.
Mailata middle linebacker card with 98 speed.
6'8".
Yeah, it's crazy what they did. There's a Michael Penix
Why
running
do they
back
do this?
card.
What
I don't
the
know.
hell
I
is
don't know.
that? Why do they do this? I just don't get it. You wrecked the game.
There's
It's
Frank
like 2K.
Ragnow left outside linebacker.
This just
It's
makes
so
no sense.
Frank Ragnow.
It doesn't even
is
make any
crazy.
sense.
It'd be
honestly.
cool if they did just one promo that was out of position cards. That'd be cool. But they've been dropping out of position cards all fucking year,
Yeah.
bro. It's fucking retarded.
And then it's just your
silly.
entire lineup is
Yeah.
just all out of position.
Yeah.
Like it just makes no sense.
Yeah,
Kyle
it's
Pitts
silly,
at
it's
quarter
silly.
is funny as fuck too.
He's
What
nice.
the hell?
He's nice. All right. Anything else?
I think we're good.
All right.
Actually, you know what? Before we close this, I'm gonna put you guys on the spot. Give me your way too early Super Bowl predictions for next year.
Like a winner and a loser?
Winner and a loser.
Ooh.
I'm going to say the Kansas City Chiefs win it. Bold pick there.
So bold. Super duper bold.
So when we did this right after the Super Bowl, I said Chiefs versus Rams, but that was before Aaron Donald retired.
yeah.
So that's kind of
Okay, so we
that
changed it now.
prediction's done.
I don't remember what I said. Holy shit.
You said the
I-
Packers.
Wow.
I
don't
know.
remember what you said.
I said the
I
Chiefs.
think we all said the Chiefs were
Yeah,
winning
yeah, yeah.
it, but we all different teams.
because we did that like the day after the Super Bowl. I
Yeah.
was like, it's hard not to say the
Right,
Chiefs
yeah,
the day
yeah,
after
for
they
sure,
win
for
the
sure.
Super Bowl.
Yeah, so I'm still gonna go with the Chiefs. Who's gonna represent the NFC, man?
That's a good question.
That is a really good question.
Fucking
You know,
Falcons.
Kid's about to say Caleb Williams in the Chicago Bears.
I'm gonna go with the Eagles, man.
Okay.
I think the Eagles have a bounce back year, and we get a rematch.
We've never
Chiefs,
seen that
Eagles.
Super Bowl before. This is crazy. The Chiefs every year.
I think the Eagles are.
Bro,
the
it
best
really
team
is
in the
that.
NFC
Even
right
all,
now.
even all the shit they've gone through this offseason, like they're still gonna
With
go.
the Chiefs,
yeah, they're still gonna go to the Super Bowl.
All right. You know what?
Yeah, this question really isn't who do we think is winning the Super
Who's
Bowl.
playing
It's
the
who do we
Chiefs?
think is the best team in the NFC that's gonna lose to the Chiefs in the Super Bowl.
You know, nah.
think I
Chiefs
know
ain't
where
gonna
you're going.
3P, bro. It's never been done in NFL history. It'd be crazy if they did. So I'm gonna bank on NFL history. I'm gonna say that the Chiefs do not make the Super Bowl. I'm gonna say the Ravens make the Super Bowl. Derrick Henry is gonna put them on his
Shit,
back.
I forgot all
Getting
about
those
that.
motherfuckers
Yeah.
Got Henry.
Derrick Henry is gonna put them boys on his back. And I'm gonna say I'm changing my NFC pick too. I'm gonna go with Detroit.
I knew you were gonna do that.
I'm gonna go with Detroit.
The Motor City.
And I'm gonna say Jared Goff and the Detroit Lions break the motherfucking curse
Bruh.
and win the goddamn Super Bowl. I'm all in. Chips are all on the table for the Detroit Lions.
They gotta
I
make
said
podcast
I made a
equipment more
fucking video.
expensive, bro.
I made a fucking video. I made a fucking video about the Detroit Lions a few years ago and how Bryce Young was going to lead them to the promised land. Fuck that. I was wrong about Bryce Young, but I was right about the Detroit Lions. So I'm going to say the Detroit Lions win the fucking Super Bowl next year.
I mean, I'm still going with the Chiefs in the AFC. Like, it's just, I hate to be boring. Fuck, I have no idea who's gonna come out of the NFC, man. I can't in good conscience pick the Eagles. I will never pick the
I
Cowboys.
really think it's between three teams. I think it's the Eagles, the Lions, and the Niners.
Niners.
I think that's
Yeah.
really the Packers are good.
You could drop the Cowboys. Yeah, the Cowboys definitely, yeah.
The Falcons, no.
No.
I'm
Packers could be
between the two NFC North teams, the Packers and the Lions. I think I'll just be different from you.
North, NFC South, NFC West.
I'm gonna go with the Green Bay. I'm gonna go with the Green Bay Packers. I think those boys got better. They got another year gelled together with Jordan Love. Those receivers I think are gonna be even better than they were last year. So I'm gonna go with the Packers, but
Chiefs.
I think the Mahomie three-peats.
Yeah, man.
If anyone's gonna do it, it's him.
If anyone
bro.
It's Mahomes, it's Spags, it's Andy Reid. Like if anyone's gonna do it, yeah, it's
Bro,
Pat
if
Mahomes.
they do it without like they get rid of Snead and then they go ahead and just go win another one.
It
bro.
doesn't. They could get rid of as long as that guy is under center.
It really is.
They could
just
pretty
as
much lose
simple
everyone.
as like just Patrick Mahomes.
Have Patrick Mahomes and people with working legs, and that's
And look, they made
about all you
they
need.
made their receiver group better.
bro.
Yeah, I wonder if we're gonna see a shift.
didn't even matter.
To, like, to back to like the early Mahomes days, where it's like a super high-powered offense and the defense lacks a little bit.
I kind of wonder.
Who's
if-
in their receiver
Their
room now?
offseason was to improve the offense and the defense.
Oh,
took a
yeah,
hit
yeah.
because of that.
Yeah, I mean Xavier Worthy, Hollywood Brown, and then I mean,
they
if
did get Hollywood Brown.
If
Yeah.
Rasheed Rice,
For Rice is there, having Worthy, Hollywood, Rice, and Kelsey as your pass catchers is nuts.
Jesus
With Mahomes at
I was gonna
quarterback,
say it
is
really isn't that nuts, but because
For him,
Rick
it's
Mahomes
nuts.
is at
No,
quarterback.
Considering
no,
what he's
no,
had
no,
the
no,
past
no,
2
no.
years, it's nuts.
it is not like that's a great receiving core.
It's a
though.
nice,
Right.
Hollywood's
nice
really
core.
good. Rice is really good. Kelsey obviously is still just Kelsey. And then Xavier.
Kelsey's just
whatever
gonna
Worthy
Kelsey's just gonna
is-
be there when you need him to. Like that's just
Bro, it was crazy because I really thought that man was washed.
a lot of people thought he was
I
washed.
really thought that man was washed.
He had
Silly me.
such a great playoff run.
He
Silly
did,
me.
yeah.
He had a sick
Same.
playoff run. All
right.
right, well, there's a way too early Super Bowl predictions. All right, thank you guys so much for watching. Please be sure to leave a like, subscribe, hit that notification bell, follow us on all of our socials. Go cop a BallGame 1K hoodie if you haven't already. We're on the road to 10K. We're getting there. That was NFL. Enjoy the NBA playoffs, and with